The scenery doesn't change for another 100 miles. Many people have come this way, some from necessity, some pursuing their dreams. Most suffered, some died. The only thing to come easy here is thirst. Temperature 30 degrees centigrade, 85 Fahrenheit. Humidity very low. The object of the exercise. In 1989, Dave Campos set a record of 322 on a double-engine Harley. Easy rider. Max Lamke is trying to better that with two 63-year-old Vincent engines. Many of the crew regard 63 as young. Ready for you now, Mr. Lamke. First challenge, the wind.
Hey, Gerry, have somebody else pick that thing for you.
Left to right, Donny, Max, up. The helpers and supporters. The Vincent Streamliner. 3000 cc, over 570 horsepower, 3 gears. Took an AMA record of 217.92 in 2007. Best one-way run, 222. The covers and sidecar come off for pre-run checks and clutch adjustment. It has to slip enough to get underway, but not overheat, and it mustn't lock up too soon, or the engines can't pick up the revs.
Switches on.
Glad you're holding brake. It's locking up at 2,000.
2,000.
It's locking up too soon.
Yeah. Hurry and hop out of this.
Think about that for a minute. It's locking up as soon as you start.
Give me a screwdriver or something. Gotta pull that off, and we gotta add a shim. Okay.
A slider clutch uses centrifugal force acting on weighted levers, or fingers. The higher the engine revs, the greater the applied pressure. The clutch will release if the engine seizes, so the rear wheel cannot lock up and cause handling problems.
Same as when you use a short valve or a long push valve.
Okay, have we decided anything on to stop this friggin' water?
We will figure something out.
There is a problem with the pump that sprays water over the cylinder heads to cool them.
Seal on, Max!
The water pump has been replaced, so the heads are now being cooled. Another pump cools the cylinder muffs, and yet another the change.
No big deal. It does that when it's going down the course.
Then there's the laundry, washing salt out of the parachutes. But it's a good win for drying. Topping up the CO2 that operates the gear shift and the parachutes.
Thank you, sir. Because that's a regulated side.
900.
Oh, good. We're done.
While Donny does his manicure, Bob officials arrive to carry out their inspection. This is the supercharger, or blower, drive belt.
When in doubt, put a bigger belt on it.
There are 48 pages of rules to comply with.
I'm always good.
Right.
Tyre rated for 400 miles per hour on hub center steering. Seat and harness anchor points, switches and controls are all checked. Next comes the escape test, wearing a fireproof suit and Nomex lined helmet. The rules get tighter every year. Seatbelt fixings increase from 5 to 6 to 8, each change costing $300. Fire suit rule changes cost $1,000, and fire bottle changes another $1,000. The rider must be able to exit the machine upright or on its side, without assistance, within 30 seconds. He has mandatory arm restraints anchored to his chest harness to keep his arms inside the cockpit should the liner roll over. Freedom of movement is also restricted by the roll cage that surrounds him. Behind him is a firewall to prevent exploding parts, liquids or flames entering the cockpit. A forward bulkhead separates him from the front wheel.
Well, not bad for an old guy.
What's that?
Parachutes are operated manually, but should the liner roll over 80 degrees from the upright, they deploy automatically.
Component testing for the last 3 years. Are you testing each component to its limit, and then raising its limit, and then find another component the next year that's at its limit?
I guess you never stop testing, do you?
No.
Broken just about every one of them.
Yes. We hope we've broken them all.
Now it's time to start up the strong.
Well, we hope we don't break any of the strong links.
When are you scheduled to run?
As soon as we get it together.
Wind and rain overnight made the salt far too wet to run. Bub officials were turning everyone back at Land's End until 11 o'clock this morning. After a trial run yesterday, Hartman reported, "Don't change the gearing or jetting. She's pulling better than ever." At mile 2, 5,000 RPM, 175 miles an hour, would not shift to second gear. He pulled the chutes, aborted, pulling off at the 3 mile. After checking all electrical, mechanical and pneumatic systems, no fault was found. Time to take the chain off, start the engines and see if it will shift then. With the engines firing in unison, like a 3000cc supercharged twin, they send shock loads through the transmission. There hasn't been one twin-engine land speed record attempt that hasn't had drivetrain problems. It's an inherent for sureness. Don Vesco, setting the 318 record with his twin-engine Kawasaki, went through 13 transmissions and 3 weeks of private salt time at $2,000 a day. Akatak bent crankshafts, then took out transmissions regularly. Last year, Black Lightning's primary chain broke, resculpting the engine cases on the first, so only run. The crew went home, fixed it. Another year on, they came back from Germany, the UK, Canada, and all over the USA, back to the salt, to try again. Rear chain removed so it can't go anywhere, whilst checking the gear shift. Gears are shifting fine, probably a corroded contact which cleaned itself after being operated several times. On the other side of the trailer, from Australia, Mal Hewitt and his crew. Our other neighbour is Terry Prince and his sidecar outfit, which just ran 143 at Lake Garden in Australia, at sea level. Bonneville is 4,000 feet higher, so he needs to adjust his injector pump. Mal Hewitt and crew were also at Lake Garden, where they ran 148 naked. With a fairing, it ran 154, with a strong crosswind. Here Mal is running the 1350cc modified vintage gas class, both faired and unfaired. Bub officials have just announced the course will open at 2 o'clock. Dry enough for sit-ons, but not streamliners. So Mal and crew head for the start, mile 0. A pair of ARD magnetos on a pair of 1970 Triumph engines, run by Dick Norman of Dirty Dick's Charm School. 1952 JAP motor in a Norton featherbed frame, built by Eric Patterson and Dave Dean. Magnesium cases, alloy top end, and BTH mags. Record of 121.79, and it's street legal.
If I was motorcycle, Vincent Red repeat. Ride around to your house, baby, get you up to speed.
Laura and Brian Clock of Team Clockworks.
If I was a short track racer, I'd be in the end. You could ride me around again.
Carly Cobb and Chris Deacon. And there goes Erica. Laura Clock on her Victory Vision took a record in the modified partial streamlined pushrod fuel class with a new personal best of 153.906 miles per hour.
Copy, go ahead, 10333 to the Mountain 5.
We're okay.
Carly is qualified, so has been called to do her return run. Mal Hewitt is ready to run his semi-faired 1950 1200cc Vincent Rapide. Carly, now on a 500 Buell modified pushrod gas, ran a record 107.395. Mal and his crew came 8,000 miles just to run this 1 mile. Sounds like a misfire. Gerry, in the semi-streamlined class, also ran 110.72, with a best one-way of 111.58. Well, we don't know who this is, but they seem to be doing very well. Well, an interesting day, despite not getting a run. Mal Hewitt's sit-on got a run, but too wet for the Streamliners. Clockworks teamed well. Took 4 records, became the first mother, daughter and granddaughter to hold records at the same event. Tomorrow's weather is forecast better. We can only hope. Well, the weather forecast was correct. After we finished breakfast, and after Peter Volkers has his picture taken with Donny and Hartman, it's off to mile 0. If they remember to take Donny with them.
This is 89.7. This is Radio Fury. But an absolutely gorgeous day out here on the Salt. Okay, we've had sun all day with absolutely no clouds. We've run a lot of bikes today, starting at 7 a.m. So we're continuing to have bikes in the pre-setup area, and we're running them down as quick as we can to the different starting lines on both the international and also the mountainside course. Thank you for taking care of all of the pits, keeping the area as clean as possible, and watching out for the salt.
The Flying Kiwi Streamliner, with its new owners Laura and Craig Anderson. He first saw it in New Zealand, where it held an FIM record. He brought it, modified it, came to Bonneville and set an AMA record of 168.3 miles an hour.
You guys got priority. You're Streamliners? Nope.
I'm not worried about that.
The wind is good. There isn't any. The salt is dry. Going for a run.
I'm about to check in now too.
Another one in the queue, and if you guys are ready to go, you line up.
Sky and one.
Yeah, the guy with the 196 guy that's coming out now in the copper color bike. He's our number 2. You guys want to slot in right behind him.
Man, this is Mountain Zero.
And then what we'll do is we'll just make sure that the opening's kept clear for you. Okay, fellas, good run.
Thank you.
The track is 11 miles long. 5-mile run-up, 1 mile time through the traps, and 5 miles to stop. The starter motor is slipping. There's a headwind, but only 2 miles an hour.
We are firing up 2785, the Lamb liner. Be on the track in just a second.
Hey, you guys, 35 miles an hour on that access road.
Hartman said 5,500 in low gear before the 2-mile mark. Speed 188. Clean shift to second, pulled momentarily, then felt like it's jumping in and out of gear. At the 8 mile, he pulled the chutes. Time through the traps, 205. And here comes the Flying Kiwi.
Okay, that's a Streamliner 2720 on the international course. Just went through at 181.961 miles per hour. 2720, 181.
Get this thing out of here. It's dripping.
Let's get the bottom pants off this thing. Get that clutch off her.
Here we are. That's what it is.
Jesus Christ.
See?
That's the goddamn primary case. Come on.
Broke?
No, nothing's broke.
Out of the way.
What's going down?
Out of the way.
Let's get the pants off the
Out of the
bugger.
way.
We can
Out of the way.
clean
Get
it
it
up.
on the ground. Trailer out of the way.
All that's. You're gonna pull the clutch and wash it out.
The primary breather pipe came loose, allowing oil onto the clutch. So it slipped, heated up, which loosened the clutch seal, which worked its way out, allowing even more oil in. The clutch held until the air drag of the liner exceeded the friction coefficient of the clutch, so it slipped, allowing the engine revs to rise. Centrifugal force on the finger weights increased, restoring the drive, which felt like jumping gears. Max thinks it's running rich, so is changing jets from 132 to 134 to weaken it.
Thank you, Gerry.
Thank you, Barry.
There's sandwiches and water in the truck here, or anybody who's not on the cruise too. Don't matter.
We're only 3 miles an hour here.
Not shedded.
Streamliners are not permitted to run unless the wind is below 5 miles per hour.
Go ahead and start the generator.
At 8, it's 8 miles an hour.
You know, in those times when you want to catch rainwater, you're out in the desert.
That's a proper umbrella.
You know.
From where I sit, winds are acceptable.
Okay, fine. We will go. Lamkey liner is running under 2785.
Roger. Tower copies 2785.
Squeal a little bit.
Move your butt up a little bit.
No more bike. We're going to be ready here in 2 minutes. Pull him off.
Go ahead. Send me that.
No, it's going to take you 4 or 5 minutes by the time it's all done. Got the driver over there cooking.
I have winds excess of 10 miles an hour. 3.
Winds are up to 10 at 3 miles.
Maybe not. Hold it like that.
Down the course.
4 miles at 3.
Most of the winds reporting down the course.
1.5.
That's Comet 1.5. Tower, this is Mile Zero. We have him in the cockpit, belted in, ready to leave.
At Mile 0, this is Tower. The wind looks good to me right now.
Okay, fine.
Okay, we are ready.
Is he clear? Not clear yet.
All right, let's fire it up. We're up.
Power is down. It's running weak. It needs more fuel, not less. "10 miles per hour crosswind took him off the track. He went through the wrong side of the time line. Back home through Wendover, Nevada to Wendover, Utah. The quality inn. A definition of quality I was formerly unaware of.